Hey guys, how's it going? We're doing wine review number 2 tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the last video. I did sort of a unique wine that was, it wasn't like a white wine, it wasn't a red wine, it was more of an orange wine. This is more of a classic red wine, but it's still, there's something unique about it, which is exciting, something different about it. It's from Sicily, I think. Let's take a look. So it's called Flavia. Like flavor, F-L-A-V-I-A, flavia, okay? And it says Etna rosso on the bottom. Now, Mount Etna, I believe, is the biggest mountain in Sicily. I think it was actually a volcanic mountain, which means there's a volcano on it. It's probably exploded a few times. I don't know when it's gonna explode again, but we'll just wait and see. But yeah, no, so I think it's probably made on the side of that hill in Sicily, Mount Etna. And then rosso is Italian for red. So it's Sicilian red wine, Italian, Sicilian, they're sort of interchangeable. They're right next to each other. You know what I mean? Like Mexican and United States. It says it's made with organic grapes. Now, the fact that it's in English and saying that it's made with organic grapes in the English language, despite being an Italian wine, raises my eyebrow. Isn't necessarily a bad thing. No, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just tells you something about the wine, okay? So this is a liter. Normally when you see, it says a liter here, it's probably hard for you to see, but normally you talk about the volume of wine you're getting with a regular wine in the United States of America. It's 750 milliliters. This is a liter, which is 1,000 milliliters. So this is slightly bigger than a regular bottle of wine. To be exact, it's 250 milliliters bigger, okay? So a little bit bigger volume of wine than you would normally get in a regular bottle of the United States of America. So let's take a look. Flavia, Sicilian red, we know that. It's sort of got almost like a sort of, what do you want to call it? You can see through it a little bit. It's got a sheen, a ruby red sheen. It's got a lower viscosity, okay? So light is able to travel through it, and you can see through it. Okay, let's just be simple. You can see through it, okay? And it's not like a really jammy, like cloudy red wine where it's like, boom, it might as well be the color black. You can't see what's behind it. This you can almost see through just a little bit, okay? So it's not as concentrated in some sort of way. 2018, it's a 2018 wine. That's the vintage is what I think they say. You know, I mean, vintage is the term used to describe what year the wine's from. It's from 2018. Okay, so it's 2021, so 2 years plus. Actually, depending on when in 2018, it could be less than 2 years. But you know, just that's about the age, 2018. Alcohol percentage, I did not discuss that on the last video. And I feel like a lot of people might have been upset about that. The ABV, the percentage of alcohol in the last wine I had, I think it was 9.1, which is very low. This wine is 14% by volume, alcohol by volume, which is pretty high. For wine, it's not that high. You can get up to like 16, 17, but it's still, generally speaking, pretty high alcohol for, you know, like a spirit, or for a non-spirit, for like a beer or a wine type item. Pretty high up there once you get into the teens. So this was actually distributed and brought to the United States from Sicily by a company called Vinotas Selections. And I don't really know much more than the name about this wine importer, other than that their name is Vinotas Selections, and that's the name of their website. So let's move forward and taste this wine, enjoy it, review it, give it a wine score, and sort of maybe try to explain it for those viewers at home who don't have the opportunity to actually put their tongues on it like I do here. Okay, here we go. So I've already got a glass poured here, which is excellent. We're gonna just take a look at it through the light. I'm gonna look at it, kind of see it, gonna give it a swirl. A smell, yeah, okay. So that's interesting. So when you first take it, when it first comes into your mouth, there's sort of a lightness to it, a levity to it, but it's got a silkiness. It's got a sort of like weight in your mouth. Drink again. It sort of settles itself on your tongue. It's nice. I would say this is a straight down the middle of the road wine. Nothing too crazy going on here. The way I would describe this isn't a super heavy red. It's a lighter red. It's like a table wine. It almost tastes like it has more than one kind of grape in it. It's a blend of wines. It's a kind of wine that's you're supposed to enjoy passively. That is to say, you're supposed to experience this wine in exactly the opposite way I'm experiencing it right now. What does that mean? Right now, I am really giving a very critical eye, an evaluation, and review, right? Tim's reviews of this wine. That's not what this wine is for. It's not a wine that was made to be critiqued. It's a wine that is simply meant to just be consumed with food, with friends, with family. It's a simple wine. It's a straightforward wine. In some ways, I'm doing it a disservice by giving it this sort of critical, fleshed out, thought out review. And I don't mean to sort of mistreat the wine in that regard, but that is how I feel. This is really a wine that you eat, you drink it, you feel good. Maybe a weeknight wine, you might call it. The expression in Europe, I think, I translated it into English is table wine. That's sort of what the way they describe it, as they call it a table wine. So this is a table wine, but it's got unique characters to it. Let's give it another one. Another taste. Cranberry, red currant, ocean spread, Sprite, plum, pluot. Yeah, so basically, we're getting sort of a cranberry pluot come through. When I say come through, what does that mean? It kind of comes through. It doesn't stick, it comes through. Lighter, lower concentration, more of a liquidy, not as dense a wine, more of a watery wine. Watery has a bad connotation, but I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just lighter on its feet, it comes through quickly, it's more refreshing, cleanses the palate, that sort of thing. But again, not a wine to really be picked apart, more wine just to be paired with experiences, friends, family, food, things of that nature. So I think if it plays its part very well, I think it does what it's supposed to do. And I appreciate it for really that exact reason. It is clearly made to be a wine that is just sort of paired with food, and it just knocks it out of the park for that. How would I know? I'm not eating food right now. Good point, I'm not. But I can just tell it would be good with food. So before I give this a wine score, I'm going to just go ahead and give you a little bit more background on the wine, because I actually just realized there's a paragraph on the back of the label that I forgot to read in my initial description. Okay, so Flavia is actually the name of the winemaker. Her and her husband Giacomo are young winemakers, and they are fifth generation of the historic Rollo family. So if they're both from the Rollo family and they are together, that family, the Rollo family, is dedicated to the production of natural and organic wines from the slopes of the Etna, Mount Etna, as I was describing earlier, to the Sea of Marsala. The Sea of Marsala. I want us to focus on the Sea of Marsala. So their family makes wines from the slopes of the Etna. So let's just talk about why that is even the case, that we're saying the Etna. Mount Etna is what we say. It's a mountain. So we call it Mount Etna, right? I mean, we call it a mountain, so it's Mount Etna. Why are they saying the? They're putting an article in front of the name of the mountain. And I think it's because there's sort of a significance or primacy of that mountain in the culture, in the language, in just everything about that. It's just the Etna. It's almost like the equivalent of saying the, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, it's a couple that are from the same family, which is concerning, that have been making wine for 4 generations in Sicily on the side of a mountain, also known as a slope. And the slope goes all the way from the mountain of Mount Etna all the way out to the Sea of Marsala, which again I want to focus on. So giving this a final wine score, let's do it. As you guys know, it's out of 10. We use points, like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. We get pretty specific. The last wine, as you guys know, is a very different type of wine and character and intent and purpose and theory. I gave it a 7. I'm actually gonna give this just a higher rating because I think that we had a big table of people, looking down the table, you've got a liter of wine, this is a big bottle, bunch of people sharing it, family, friends, cousins, extended, just good home cooked food. I mean, this is doing what it was meant to do, better than the last wine did what it was supposed to do. And that's why I'm gonna give this an 8.1. I'm gonna give this an 8.1 because I truly do believe this is doing what it was supposed to do with a good amount of pageantry, a good amount of convincing character, and a good amount of decor. And I think this is basically accomplishing the goal that the winemaker set out for the wine, right? It's living up to its own name. It's living up to its purpose. It's living up to like what it was supposed to be. And you gotta value that. You gotta rate that highly when you see it. I'm seeing it, I'm liking it, and I'm gonna give it a wine score of 8.1. Highly recommend you go out and you can get your hands on this if you can. Very hard to get. You had to go to a weird wine store to get it. But if you can, you're in a position to where you can get your paws on this. Secure it, drink it, enjoy it. Have a great day.